Okay, that was weird that it played twice. What's going on, everybody? My name is Gonzo, and welcome back to the channel. Uh, Welcome Zen to it.
Hey, what's going on, Gonzo? How you doing?
I'm good. I found out what that extra noise was.
Your phone?
Uh, uh,
I was like, I hope it's not me.
oh, yeah, I'm glad it's not you either.
Yeah. Oh man. All
There
right.
is an extra sound
So,
still going on somewhere.
is there though?
Yeah. Okay, I think there it is. It's good. Yeah,
Okay.
I
Cool.
think it was my phone that I was using for the chat, and I was like, "Oh, you motherfucker." Okay, anyways, hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Gonzo, and today I have a very special guest with me, Zenturion XYZ. Go ahead
What's
and
up,
introduce
everybody?
yourself and let everyone know what you're all about.
Sure thing. I'm Zen. Y'all can call me Zen or Centurion or Centurion XYZ. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want.
I call him
I've
Foxy.
Oh yeah. um, I make content. I've been doing Pokemon videos and Pokemon content for uh, almost 4 years now. I think four, maybe a little bit more than four. But yeah, uh, just I've got my YouTube channel. I've got a Twitch channel. Got a Rumble. Got just my social medias and all that stuff. But yeah,
Sounds
that's
good.
me. Hmm.
No, suit on. It was not supposed to start an hour ago. For well, it's 6 o'clock for you, but it was supposed to be 5 p.m. PST, so it's on time. How did you? We'll go back to Zen since Sudan Sudan already derailed it. How how did you get the name Zenturion XYZ?
It's actually Centurion was a name that I used back when I started playing World of Warcraft, and so that was my name in World of Warcraft, and then I just kind of stuck with it when I got into Pokemon. I was like, all right, Centurion XYZ, just
Yeah.
for the XYZ is actually the series that got me back into Pokemon, watching the
Mhm.
anime again.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
so I just kind of tacked that on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, real quick, we're gonna say hello to some of the people in chat. We have Sudan segments retired. Smokey Dizard. We have hello 187. How you doing today? And bullish trading cards. How you guys doing? If you guys are new to the channel, thank you for coming in. But yeah, XYZ was a great anime series. It was, in my opinion, it was the championship Ash should have won to begin with.
Yes, agreed,
Yeah,
agreed.
yeah,
He was so good in
yeah.
that series, and he had such good Pokemon.
He had a solid team. Ash,
Very.
he had a Mega Evolution and Ash Greninja, but because of Charizard, he had a fucking where's Grumpy? Oh, Grumpy, you son of a bitch. Charizard had the plot armor for that season.
Of
I
course.
Yeah, I'm like, I understand why they did it. Hawaiian 50 Dub, how you guys doing? I'm not mad at how they did it. It worked well. I don't like the new after XYZ when they went to Sun and Moon. I don't like the new animation style. It went a little too childish for me.
Mhm.
But the stories were still the same. It was just a different animation style.
Right. Yeah, the animation style kind of did get a little childish, kind of weird, but I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it as much as XYZ though, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then the new one with Go, I just couldn't
Oh,
stand Go.
I I don't know how I feel about it because I was so involved in, because I've been there since Gen 1, the linear storyline of gym badges, bad guys, and then the championship. This
Right.
was a different side. I didn't hate it. I did like it to an extent, but I did miss having them go earn the badges, because I feel like we didn't see a lot of the gym leaders from Sword and Shield in the anime. Like I don't feel like we saw Kubo, the fire gym leader.
Mhm.
I don't think we saw Gordy or Sudan's wife Melanie. Uh,
I don't recall seeing them either, which was kind of weird. The thing is, and that's what threw me off about this particular anime, was the fact that they were moving around so much, right? Like because they were doing the whole we want to go back to all the different places that we've already been to and all of that stuff, and it kind of felt kind of weird. Like okay, so they can just take a train from here and kind of travel everywhere that they've already been.
Right.
And it was just kind of like a weird thing for me. I was like, I don't know about how I feel about that.
Yeah, I much would if they were going to go from place to place. I much rather would have them seen it on a ship or air travel, because that's how it's always been. Every time you went to a new region was through boat. So now it's making it seem like it's all connected, where they can just take a train like the European Union, and they're all so close together.
I think they took a few planes here and there, and I think they took a boat a couple times as well. But it was just, I don't know, it was just strange to have them going all over the place. You know, it was just like there was no storyline, like linear storyline or anything like that, like you mentioned. It was just kind of, hey, we're gonna be in Kanto, and then we're gonna be over here and then over there, and it's just like I can't keep up.
It was definitely an episode by episode season with the small storyline of Go wants to catch Mew, which that, like, again, I'm on the same page as everyone else. Like, how the hell is this little turd? Like, people talk shit about Ash, like, oh, he befriended all his Pokemon. Hey, that's still a valid way, instead of just like, hey, there's a fully healed Suicune Pokeball. I wasn't a fan of that.
No.
But I know what your favorite Pokemon is, but go ahead and tell chat why your favorite Pokemon is wrong.
Well, my favorite Pokemon is right, and Blastoise would be my favorite. Squirtle obviously is right up there with Blastoise, but yeah, the whole Squirtle line.
Yeah, I really wish Wartortle would get a lot more love, because he's my favorite middle evolution line of those three. But I want to talk about that pop figure behind you. Did you custom make the Squirtle Squad glasses, or did someone make it for you?
No, High187 actually sent that to me.
Oh, that is dope.
Yeah, I think it was like a birthday gift one year or something like that. He sent that over to me, which was pretty cool. I mean, I love it. It's just kind of every once in a while I've got to fix his glasses because they fall off. But other than that,
yeah. Well, yeah, not unless you like super glued or something. But then it's like, do you really want to put super glue on all that stuff?
Yeah. Exactly.
So let's talk about all the other stuff behind you. I see Pokemon, I see Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, and I see some in different languages. What got you into collecting different languages besides the money going completely nuts at the time when you started collecting them on the English side?
So when I actually started collecting, there was nothing crazy going on. It was just I wanted to buy like just cheaper cards in general, and I came across like the Korean cards, and I was like, cool. Let me just jump into some Korean and see what what it's all about and all that. The booster boxes at the time were like $25
for a booster box,
and yeah, for a booster box, and I was like, yeah, I mean, because content, as a YouTuber, making content is expensive, especially if you're opening stuff in every video. So it was like, I can either buy at the time, $85, $90 booster box in English, or I could buy a $25 booster box Korean.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that my Korean videos actually did better than my English ones, because I guess people were kind of just interested to see like what
other
is
cards.
This Korean. Yeah. So I actually got more views out of my Korean videos than I did most of my English ones. So yeah, I kept going with the Korean stuff. Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, their Korean boxes are still $25. And they're really good quality. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Korean, if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh! The Korean ones are really, really cool. I don't think for an investment type of thing, it's not really worth it because they're not valuable. But like if you're just a collector and you love the cards, I mean, yeah, Korean Yu-Gi-Oh! Is awesome. Yeah,
I have to agree with you, because I did a Italian battle styles. My sister was stationed over in Italy, and she sent me a bunch of Pokemon cards. Yeah, it was battle styles, but still, it was like, oh, it's still interesting.
Mhm.
and that video did really well. And I bought a Korean Detective Pikachu set, and that was really fun to see because a lot of people looked at it and they're like, and had the same thought process I did, because they are a different card stock, and
They
they're,
are.
even
Yeah.
though I think they're printed here in America, over here
Nope.
where they're not. I
No,
thought they were.
they're actually printed in Korea, which is
Oh,
interesting
nice.
because all other Pokemon cards are printed either in Japan or in the United States.
Yeah, yeah.
Korea is the only other one that prints in their own country.
I wonder why that is. But
Interesting
when,
enough.
yeah, when I got it, I was like, I feel like this is fake. But I like, before I posted my video, I made sure to do all the research. I was like, okay, like even if they were fake, I probably still would have posted it, but I would have put
Yeah.
a disclaimer on it. But they if you've never held a Korean Pikachu Pokemon card, you would assume they're fake. They're a different quality. They're not as thick. They feel a lot more flimsier, but they are real cards. They just feel extremely different. Um, but yeah, it's probably, I think the enamor of it, of not being Japanese and not being English, is what makes it so popular to view, even if it's just a video, because people, they like seeing other languages and how it's written, especially for the full arts, because some, I've noticed for some languages it takes up less space, so you see more of the artwork.
Right. Yeah,
What
and interestingly enough, like out of all my videos, probably the ones that get the most comments are the Korean ones,
Mhm.
because people are just curious, right? Even though I give as much information as I can about the set and the cards in my video itself, like people still have follow up questions, and so they'll drop me comments. I've gotten tons of like DMs from people just asking me like, "Hey, I want to buy Korean cards, but I don't know
Don't
where
know
to
where to
get them.
start. Yeah.
I don't know anything about the Korean stuff, and I don't want to end up buying like fake ones or whatever. What do I do? So, I give people the very similar advice, which is really what I do to buy them. Is I go on eBay, I look up like some of the best sellers from Korea. Like they've got
Mhm.
like there's a few of them like Beyond World, I think is one of them. There's like they're really huge companies, and they've got like thousands of feedback on eBay.
Yeah.
And I buy off them. I don't mess around with like the Korean stuff. I don't think I've ever bought Korean Pokemon cards from anybody with less than like 400 or 500 reviews. I mean, just you know, I don't want to
Yeah.
get scammed. So
I'm the same way when it comes to eBay sales, and now like even on Amazon, since people are able to sell on Amazon, you have to look at the reviews, the buyers, the sellers.
yep,
Same thing with Macari, because depending, well, of course, depending what you're buying, but mostly for our purposes, you don't want to get scammed with fake anything,
right,
Pokemon, Digimon, anything like that. Um, but how I found you was, I was researching how to grade cards, what grading company I want to go with, everything in between. And I found your videos. You were doing reviews on DSG, AGS, what Beckett. I think you did one. Like you were doing reviews for all these grading companies, especially at that time, because there were so many that were popping out of the woodworks. And I, at the time, wasn't trying to go with PSA because they didn't have their membership where it's $15 a card or whatever. It was
right.
just, I think at the time it was like $50 for one card. So I would have loved to done PSA or Beckett, but they were too expensive at the time. So and I could not just, I had so much hesitation with going with these newer slabs, grading companies. So tell me your thought process on why you sent the cards you sent to them, and why you chose those grading companies over others.
Yeah. So I've tried a bunch of different grading companies. I
Yeah.
mean, so Beckett's not one of them. I've never actually sent cards to Beckett. In
Mhm.
fact, I don't own any Beckett's, but I have graded with PSA. The PSA was the first company that I did grade with. Um, I went through a middleman. No issues there. Just it was
Mm.
a big company. And then the second time around, I sent my stuff over to the Hydro Pump Poke Shop. They sent my stuff over to PSA and returned it. No issues there. Obviously, they're awesome.
Yeah.
So I did, the whole PSA thing, but I was getting to a point where I was just like, I didn't really like the way that this. I don't necessarily love the frosted slabs that PSA has. And so CGC had come out, and they have those like the clear slabs. I actually have
Yeah.
one right here. They have like the completely clear slabs, right?
Yeah.
So I was just like, I really like that. I really like the clear slabs. So I sent cards to them, and that was like just better, like a better experience overall for me than PSA was. And I really, really like the slabs. I really like, just like the feel of it and everything like that compared to the PSA stuff. So I continued to send to them. But then I really got into like some of the smaller companies when we started doing the Cardboard Addicts podcast. And we had
Link
like
in
you
the
said,
description down
DSG.
below.
We had DSG on Diamond Service Grading, and we interviewed them, and I was like, okay, I really like what they're all about. They just sounded like a really good company to grade with. They do have the frosted slabs, but I did get these nice custom labels that you can get from them, and it looked really good. I liked it. So I went with them and I tried them out. I graded with them a bunch of cards. Actually, I think I've probably sent about 50 cards or more to DSG.
Yeah, because you did. I think that was the one you did 2 videos on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done 2 separate gradings with DSG. I've tried a few of the other ones, like the smaller ones, degree grading and peak grading. I wasn't too impressed with peak. I didn't even make a video on it. I didn't really like.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not about trashing like a company or anything like that. Especially like I didn't want to put out a whole video on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just be like, eh. And there was nothing like super wrong with them. They were just, you could kind of just tell that they were like just lower quality.
Gotcha.
They kind of looked and feel kind of like if you were to buy slabs off like eBay. You know what I mean? Like
Do it yourself.
Yeah, sort of. So wasn't a huge fan of that. I actually have to crack some cards out of those. But so I've graded with them. Degree grading was pretty good. I liked the grading scale that they have for the most part, but I didn't like the fact that like any tiny little dent or ding on the card, like they literally took off 4 points from it. So like I got like one card that was just, I think it was a 2. It was graded at 2, and I'm like, hell. So I just thought that was kind of weird. You know what I mean? As far as like the last grading company that I went with was Koba, and I'm actually a Koba affiliate, an ambassador, I guess you can. So I really really liked Koba when I sent my cards to them. I really liked Koba. I had a great customer service experience with them. Because they're in Canada, my cards got held up by customs, and they literally resolved the issue like right away. The owner himself called me. He's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. We're gonna get this taken care of." He actually went and picked up the cards from UPS because they were being held by customs. So he went, picked them up, sent me a text message. He's like, "I've got your cards. You're good." That's customer service that you really don't get from the big companies. I really liked that. And then on top of that, their slabs are freaking unbelievable. I actually have one here, but like they have some gorgeous slabs. They kind of look.
They do look really
like
good.
They kind of look like Beckett, right? Because of the label and all that stuff. They do have their logo here, and then Koba engraved in here, so you already know like it's not some crappy eBay slab, right?
Right.
And then they've got the subgrades in the back, which is pretty awesome. But they're crystal clear. They're hefty. Like you literally like they probably weigh. They're even thicker, but
Yeah.
they weigh maybe like 3 times as much as a CGC slab.
Yeah, Grumpy and I were
Um,
talking about Koba today. They're definitely the Canadian version of Beckett. Because I like using Beckett, especially if you get that black label, it's legit. Um, but the thickness is the same. Everything is, and it sounds like their grading standards are almost the same too. I would like to use Koba for you guys who want to use Koba. They are, like he said, stationed in Canada. Centurion XYZ10 for 10% off your order. But I'm really hesitant to send something off to Canada, especially something as expensive as cards. Uh, and that's probably why I like to use Beckett and PSA. PSA is
yeah.
right up the road for me in not even Central California. They're literally right up the like a 3 hour drive depending on traffic. But I can't just go in and drop them off, which isn't a big deal to me. Hey Grumpy, thank you for lurking. Digi, what's up, fam? How you doing? Um, but yeah, I'm excited for you guys who use Koba. They do look real legitimate. Out of all those companies, I much rather use Koba than anything else. Um, but I want to backtrack to what I think it was DGS you were talking about with the custom slabs.
DSG, yeah, they have the
DSG,
custom the custom
the
label. Yeah.
labels, yeah. How do you feel about it? Because in my opinion, if you're gonna get a custom slab label, that's definitely a personal collection piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Yes. So when let me I want to really quick just say that they aren't custom as in like they'll make them custom for just
right,
you.
they're custom
They
for the
have
card.
they have well no they have like for example a specific artist that will
Oh,
do
okay.
a art a specific art label, and
Mhm.
then you can actually select that label instead of their generic one, which like their usual label. Like I don't know, for example, if like the Kobo one, right? Instead of this, they would have like a specific one created by an artist. And so when I say custom, that's what I mean. Like it's
It's
not
not their
their
basic line,
it's not their basic, right?
right? So I know you're not a secondhand seller. Neither am I. But we both at times to make our collection bigger or better. We have sold stuff that we don't necessarily want or need anymore. How would you feel if someone if you were trying to sell one of those DSG labels with the custom slab and someone wanted uh and they want it for a cheaper price because they're just going to crack it at the end of the day because they don't want that custom slab? Would you still charge the same price or would you give them that deal?
Yeah, no, I would absolutely charge the same price. I don't I don't necessarily think that there's anything like, crazy wrong with the fact that
Mhm.
they're a little bit custom. In fact, they have the artist signature and all that stuff. So yeah, there is some customization to it, but they're still, I mean, it's a gorgeous label in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like the art is beautiful, right? So it's not like it's just some crappy. There's some of those grading companies that'll make the custom labels or the custom slab or whatever the case
Yeah.
is, and they'll just make it look like, okay, if it's a Pikachu, they'll give it like Pikachu colors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's not that kind of crappy generic thing. It's like literally like an artist made this. You
Going
know what I
out.
mean?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
I
So
put
no, I would definitely charge the same. I mean, if I have a hard time selling it, obviously.
hello 187 and Sudon are arguing about whose Nessa's card that is that you're going to give to. If you guys want, you guys can fight don't fight to the death. I like you both. Just argue
They
about
can
it.
fight. They can fight to the death. I'm not giving it to anybody, but they can fight to the death. I don't. If you're gonna do that, then at least film it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll.
content's content. The reason why I ask is I was on a Pokemon TCG Reddit like 2 3 years ago when all these smaller companies were coming about, and one person was grading a bunch of cards through one of these companies that would do the custom slabs or the different label slabs, and he was charging a ridiculous amount for these cards, and people are like, well, that's awesome, but it's not a PSA, it's not Beckett, it's not CGC, it's not one of the big three, it's not. And you, just because you put in the extra money to get this custom doesn't mean we want it that way.
Right.
And I think I looked up the prices for him, not for the cards of the company he was looking at, but the card itself. Like even raw, I think the card was like $50, and whatever grading company he was using as a 9, he was trying to sell it for like $300-400 when PSA and Beckett 9s and 10s were going for like 150 to 200.
Yeah.
So it was one of those ridiculous things that this guy was just hoping to get somebody who did not know what they were getting.
Yeah, I've seen that on eBay, where
Mm-hmm.
like some of these smaller grading companies, like people will put up these cards and it'll be like, some random small company, but it'll be like double the price of PSA. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's worth less. I mean, I know that even though I grade with the smaller company, I know that ultimately I'm probably going to have to charge a little bit less than if I were for
Right.
PSA stuff, because PSA is PSA regardless.
Right.
You know what I mean? They are,
Yeah.
until that changes.
Yeah.
I still have to charge less.
Yeah.
Um,
Hello 187 put up a great point in the chat. Why does everyone keep saying like a PSA 10 if it isn't? Because I'm sure you've seen it at local card shops. Well, I have a perfect example for it, but I know local card shops, eBay, like they'll try to sell a raw card for a PSA 10 price when it's not even graded at all.
yeah,
At one of my local card shops that I'm not allowed to go to anymore, which isn't open anymore, imagine that. They had a Reds Challenge English card. I already had the Japanese one. I won the English one. And I asked him how much it was, and he was like, oh, $250. I'm like, no, that sounds way too much for a raw card of this. And he's like, yeah, but he was like, if you get it graded, it's a PSA 10, so you'll break even. I'm like, I'm not trying to break even on a card that's not graded. If I want to grade it, I'm not gonna break even because I have to spend money to send it out to get it graded. What the
yeah.
fuck kind of nonsense is that? Just sell me the card for $75 and I'll get it graded.
I mean, or just buy the PSA 10 of it. I mean,
Yeah,
and then you
exactly.
don't. Then there's just no guesswork. You already know it's a PSA 10.
250 pesos, you mean? Why? Because I live in Southern California. I can also use pesos to pay for everything. I
Some of
wish
these
I
sellers
wish
are
that was true.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They expect like that's why I like going to the trade shows. I can meet a bunch of vendors, meet a bunch of people, and you
Mm.
can negotiate. Like I can negotiate at most of my card shops if I'm depending on how much I'm buying. But yeah, going to trade shows is awesome. Negotiate with everybody, but you can always tell who is willing to negotiate and who isn't just by the prices alone.
Right.
Cali baby, LA, LA. Yeah, see, I'm just a little more south than that. And Zen is we already discussed this before. He's super south in Florida. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to like a trade show. I've been to, you know, like, regular convention or whatever, but not
Yeah.
necessarily a trade show.
They're
But
they're pretty much the same thing, just a much smaller scale. It's mostly local sellers at trade shows, or even just like collectors who want to go get a table to get rid of some stuff. It's really worth it to check out. If you ever come to San Diego, I'll take you to. We have like one or two a weekend. It's
oh,
ridiculous.
nice.
Yeah, I heard of Zen before. I would hope so. You
um,
said some multiple things. It's like
I find it like kind of weird that they've like the some of the conventions that I've been to, or at least a couple of them that I've been to, um, they weren't really willing to like bargain with you at all. I mean, they were just there and they were like, "This is the price." And I'm like, "All right, cool." I looked up, I was asking like some of the cards. I think um, they had some really nice graded cards, some
Mhm.
slabs and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay. They were, I think, the biggest store there or whatever, the biggest shop, and so I started asking prices, and they were just giving me these like super high prices, and I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm looking them up like right in front of them. I mean, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna look it up because this doesn't make any sense, and I'm on eBay and I'm like, they're higher than on eBay. I could literally just buy this on eBay right now and have it shipped to my house, and it's cheaper than buying it here. This
and
thing.
that's with shipping.
Yeah, that's with shipping, and I'm like, yeah, that's not
Yeah,
happening.
there's a lot of tables like that at the trade shows, but like I said, you can you can always tell who's there just to sell some stuff. Like, because the last trade show I went to was back in February with my buddy, and you can tell the people who are there, like their setup looked like your background. They had shelves in the back of them, they had tables, they had displays, and then like
Mhm.
2 or 3 tables down, they only had like literally 5 to 10 slabbed cards that are worth on average $300 to $400, but they're trying to sell
Right.
them for almost double the price because they're like, this is all we got. We're not going to
Right.
negotiate. We're going to sell one card, make our money on the table, plus them, and then hopefully do everything else. The people who are willing to negotiate are also the people willing to trade, and those are the people that you want to deal with. If they're willing to trade, they're willing to negotiate, and if you can do both at the same time, it's always doing.
Yeah.
Are they selling bulk, aka buying? So some
Also,
I've seen a few tables do that. Hello, 187.
I was gonna say I'll sell you my bulk high 187 if you want it. I've got too much of it.
I need to organize a lot of my bulk. I have one store here that would buy back bulk, but I don't go to that store anymore because of an incident that they went through. I was on their side until they did something that totally crossed the line. Um, but yeah, I used to love them. They're one of the places I went to all the time. They're down the street by my schools because prices have dropped. Yeah, no kidding. Some of them, but some bulk cards have gone up in price, like the stone tablet rare hollow card. It's like $10
Yeah.
now. What is a card set that you are looking at right now that isn't Pokemon? Like maybe one on Kickstarter or one that you are keeping an eye on just to pick up.
So I got most of my Kickstarter stuff already. Like I went on a kick of buying a bunch of stuff in Kickstarter. But
Yeah.
right now, I think Nostalgic's Harmonic Surge, which is their second set, is coming out.
Mm.
That's the next one I'd like to grab. Just I'm kind of trying not to spend a ton of money right now
Yeah.
because I do want to send another submission to Koba. So that's going to be an expensive submission because I'm going to send a lot of cards. So
Do
I'm
they have
kind
a
of
bulk
like,
price?
I'm sorry.
Do they have a bulk price?
Uh, no, they don't have a bulk price. But I've got the discount, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just gonna use I'm gonna use my discount. But I plan on sending a bunch of cards to them. So I'm kind of trying to hold off a little bit on buying cards as much as I can, just to kind of be able to get that out. Because
Right.
like what you said, we're not necessarily sellers, right? So
Mm.
I don't really sell the cards that I get graded. Even when I usually have two piles. I have my pile for me, and then I have a pile for cards that I want to grade because of either value or because I'm like, okay, I could sell these because I have multiple copies of it, and I can get them graded and then just sell the multiple copies. But what ends up happening is I get them back, and I'm like, I don't really want to sell them, so I don't, and then I just get stuck with them. I have sold a couple, but that's mostly been because I've actually taken pictures or put up a video on Instagram or something like that, and
Mhm.
somebody that I know will message me and say, hey, do you have do you mind, do you want to sell that? And for example, one of them was a Charizard. I think it was like one of the Vivid Voltage Charizards, and I had like 5 or 6 copies of it, and I had sent them in, and then so I ended up was like, yeah, I've got 5 of them. I don't need 5 of them.
Right.
So I sold them a copy. I mean, that's the only times I really do it. But yeah, I usually just keep everything.
I'm the same way, but for I have two piles. One is everything is personal collection, and then the other is I'm gonna grade this for potential giveaways or something like that because
Mhm.
I'll sell a couple here and there if I really need the cash. Um, but mostly I love giving back to the community who come to my YouTube, come to Instagram, um, because it's all free and I'm not making money off it. So like when I open packs on camera, I'm losing money at the end of the day because I don't sell,
Mhm.
and I'm not
Right.
making any money on YouTube or Instagram. But I still appreciate every single person, no matter how big or small I'm going to be, that they took the time out of their day to come in, hang out, watch a video. Um, so I'll give something away from time to time to say thank you, and hopefully people realize that it's a genuine thing, and it's not like, oh, he's just trying to get followers. That is a plus side, but it's a legitimate thank you, because I didn't think
Hmm.
I was going to get past 15 subscribers, because I thought it was just going to be this to my family for years.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have usually done on my channel is if I'm going to do a giveaway, I don't necessarily announce it, because I want my viewers to actually be the ones to enter the giveaways. So I don't really have like a lot of people entering my giveaways, because I'll have like a video where maybe in the middle of the video I'll announce like a giveaway,
Yeah.
and then I'll maybe do the giveaway in the following video or something like that. But like I literally put it smack in the middle. And you know how YouTube is. Like the majority of the people watch the first 2 minutes maybe, and then they leave. So like the diehard people that like my videos will actually sit through the entire video and be like, oh, there's a giveaway. Instead of, just, I don't, if you, when you advertise it, then you get all of the people that just want free stuff, instead of the people that you really think should deserve that giveaway, the ones that have really been watching your stuff and commenting and liking your videos and all that stuff. Like, they're the people I want to cater my giveaways to.
Yeah, I love that idea, and I should probably start, of course, using that method for my YouTube videos. But on Instagram, it's so much harder to do that way, because people follow hashtags, people follow everything. Like, I'm doing one right now on Instagram, and it's to say thank you for getting me to 800, and I gained a lot of followers. But then there's people who aren't reading all the rules; they just see giveaway and like it. So they're going to be upset when they're not even entered in the giveaway.
Right.
Why do I feel like I'm missing something since I saw you go in the chat?
So High 187 has been in every single one of my live streams has said that I'm actually giving away the
Charizard
skateboard, which I'm not. I won't.
It's not crooked like Grumpy's.
Yeah, he keeps saying it.
I don't.
Of course, Sudan wants my door apparently. So,
it looks like a cheap cardboard door. Yeah,
it is. It really is. It's a hollow. Basically, it's a cardboard door. It's a hollow door. It sucks.
So what are you going to do? A subscriber goal to give away your skateboard?
No.
I have 5 of the Bear Walker skateboards, and none of them are Raichu, and I'm super upset about it because it was a UK exclusive. Is a Hidden Fates opening then? Is this okay? Got it. Don't stop. It's a perfect inside joke. I completely forgot what we were talking about. I think not grading cards. I have no idea anymore.
I got derailed.
It got derailed. But hey, at least this time it wasn't Sudan. It was 187.
It's true. It's true. We'll blame 187 for this.
Oh, we were talking about giveaways. Yeah, so I was talking about this with Grumpy earlier today, because I was like, dude, there's so many people. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people like Smokey Dizard. He's in it. 2 Cats, 2 Corgis. A lot of people that I'm biased. I hope a lot of these certain people win because they've been there since day one, or they've been very supportive since the day they followed me. And I'm getting a lot of people from around the world, which is still cool, but I hope they read the rules where I said US is free shipping, but if you're overseas or international, you may have to pay for shipping. I really hope they read the rules. I'm not, but and then I have another guy who enters all the giveaways, and he likes some of my stuff throughout the year. He messages me a lot saying, hey, there's one person who has multiple accounts. I'm like, okay, well, until you give me proof, there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the tough part with the giveaways, and it's one of the reasons I don't do a lot of them, is because there's always people out there trying to take advantage. And and I'm like, I want to do something nice for the community, but then you have the people that want to take advantage of the situation, and then they just ruin it for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I follow somebody on Twitter that was doing a giveaway, and um, they got hundreds of people like in the giveaway, and then there was a ton of them that were just bots.
Yeah.
You know, they were just bots, and you could tell they were all bots because they literally had like all the same description. You know, like you have your Twitter name,
Yeah.
and then they had like description or whatever, and it was like all like Ethereum, you know, the crypto bros or whatever the case
Yeah.
is, you know, and it was like, and then so it's like, okay, so now the person has to go in through here and kind of filter out all of these people and hope that they don't accidentally ban somebody that was not a bot. And then, you know, it's like it becomes such a big problem sometimes. And then,
Yeah.
of course, like you said, there's a lot of people that don't actually read the thing. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I'm in, you know, Norway or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but
Cool.
I put no, you know, US only.
Yeah,
Oh,
I for my first
yeah.
couple giveaways, that's why I was like U.S. only, U.S. only. But
Yeah.
like in the last three winners were all overseas. I'm like, look, I messaged so the last person who won who was overseas. I was like, I'll ship it to you, but you have to pay for shipping. And he's like, okay, deal. And it was like $50. It was going to Singapore. So I was like, all
Right.
right, whatever. I will ship to if you're in the military and you're on a military base. I will ship for you because I, as a vet, know how easy and difficult it is to get packages. It's crazy because sometimes it is very simple to get a package on a FPO box, and then there's other days you're like, if you get it, you get it. But I deployed with this guy for 9 months on a ship, never got a single package or letter from his family. So I had my wife send him something. He fucking started bawling because it means so much to some people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean, I
want
can
to do
imagine if you're
something.
away from home and all that, you know, what I mean,
Mhm.
it's like it's
Yeah,
rough.
yeah, I want to do something for Memorial Day. I don't know if I want to do it for Memorial Day because I know what the holiday's actually about, and it's even a rough day for me because I lost friends. But I think for the next Veterans Day, I want to do a live stream to give back to the military community. But I don't know how to work it yet because I don't get super chats, I don't get memberships. I want to do something where if I set up my Venmo and people Venmo me something, if it would all of it will go to some charity for the veterans. Um, but that's what I would like to do to give back to another community that I'm obviously super passionate about. Um, Speaking of that, since this we've been talking about Pokemon for about 45 minutes now, and this is meant to be to get to know you. What is another
Hmm.
community or hobby that you love being a part of?
So I well, before I got
Yeah,
into
Disney.
Pokemon,
Yeah.
before I got into Pokemon, I was really into bass fishing.
Mm,
It was like I was a hardcore bass fisherman, and I was, you know, I would go out there with a couple of buddies that had boats and stuff like that. So we'd go fishing like almost every weekend. I was out there fishing. And so that was a community that I was very much a part of on a forum, and
mm,
we had like our own competition. It was like a really fun thing, but it got to a point where I'm a very competitive person,
mm.
and I was really putting so much time into the competition. I was like literally going fishing after work just to keep up with some of these guys because like they've been bass fishing for, you know, 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I was actually fairly new at it. So I'd been, you know, I was just learning, I was getting into it. And I was trying to keep up with them. Like, in order to do that, I had to literally outfish them. I had to fish like 5, 6 times more than they did in order to catch fish the size that they were catching. So it was like, you know, and they had the boats and all that stuff. So it got to a point where I kind of burned out on the
Yeah.
fishing. Um, and you know, I took like a little bit of time off, um, and then I got into the collecting again, and I was like, all right. Then COVID hit, and
Fucking
then
COVID.
there was like no more fishing either because a lot of the places that I used to go to right around me were like parks.
Mm,
They have lakes, and like there was pretty good fishing in there. It was catch release, but um, they all those areas they designate them for like the whole nose swab situation that they were doing.
Yeah.
Um, so all of that was closed off, and it was just it was such a pain to get into it. So I couldn't really go like bank fishing anywhere close. And it was just kind of a bit of a mission. So I haven't been in a while. I haven't been fishing in a while.
Do you still follow
So
any of those stories? Like the competitor who is putting weights in the fish?
there's always some wacky stuff going
Yeah.
on with
It
the
was
fishing.
Florida.
It's like,
So
listen, that's what we do down here. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I was really into Major League Fishing for a bit. I was
Mhm.
watching that and really enjoyed that. So, but yeah, that's my other hobby. I still have I have all my rods. I have all my fishing gear. I am a collector. I buy a lot of things. I also used to buy a lot of different baits and a lot of different lures and stuff like that. So I've
Right.
got a crap ton of that stuff. Kind of stored
Sudan
away.
Sudan wants to know when you're going to do a fishing opening video. I don't know if he
When
means you're going to go out to a boat and open up some cards on a fishing boat, or if you're going to cut open a fish and cook it. Either way,
so
I am
I
in. I love fish.
so I actually was talking to one of my friends that I used to go fishing with, and he would take me on his boat. He's a guide now.
Mhm.
When I was fishing with him, he wasn't a guide. He just had his boat, whatever. Now he's a guide, and so we were talking about it because he's doing his own YouTube videos about fishing, and so we were just chatting, and I think we're going to be doing some sort of a collaboration. It's going to be an interesting one because it's going to be like me opening
Yeah,
cards and while fishing. It's going to be a wonky one, but um, we figured let's just do something, since we're going to go out at some point anyways.
yeah.
It's just been tough to get our schedules lined up.
What would make it interesting and tie it in with Pokemon is if he can catch a fish like an ounce or two or a pound or two within a certain fish Pokemon's Dex entry weight. That would be a nice little competition for him. If he can, like a Magikarp, I don't know off the top of my head, but if it weighs 25 pounds, if he can catch a fish within that range, he wins, and if he doesn't, you win, and then so you either buy him bait
Yeah.
or he buys you cards.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
Ooh,
That would be
Jay's
interesting.
PC Corner, how you doing? Sudan said, "Sweet, he can't wait." Digi can't bait made of Pokemon cards catch fish. That's what you can do with your bulk. I'll send
I
you
have Pokemon.
one of these $50 molds, so then you can make a bait out of it. I'm so
I
mad
have
at this.
two Pikachu lures actually. They did a
Oh,
company. Yeah, a company got together with Pokemon and they made some Pokemon lures. There's a Lugia and there's a Pikachu. I bought the Pikachu because the Lugia was super expensive.
speaking
And
of making
interest.
lures,
Mhm.
I sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Jay's
No, it's
Corner
cool.
TCG, who is in the chat, he makes lures. He just made a bunch of Magikarp ones, and they look really clean. Hit
Oh
him up.
wow,
Yeah,
nice.
there you go, Jay. I did the same thing for you that I did for him with the Cardboard Addicts. You're welcome. Free advertising. um,
Nice.
yeah, they do look really clean. I would have bought a handful of them if I fished, but I I unfortunately don't because the wife hates wildlife. She does not go out. She hates camping. The only way my wife would go camping is an RV, and that's not camping. I
That's not
need
camping,
I need
but
a tent and a sleeping bag.
I see. I did the whole camping thing once, and I don't think I'll do it again. But again, I am in Florida. It was miserable. It was miserable.
Yeah.
It was the worst time to do it too because it was in the summer. So one, you have rain, and then you have extreme heat with humidity. So like literally rains, and then it gets extremely hot because of the humidity,
Mhm.
and then it rains again. Um, and then on top of that, then you have mosquitoes. A lot
Oh
of
fuck.
mosquitoes.
Oh my god. Your mosquitoes are so much worse than they are in here in Southern California. Because
They're
you like
huge.
because of the humidity, the ponds and the sewers and everything else, they don't dry up like they would out here after a quick squall or even someone
Yep.
watering the grass. They just sit there. So mosquitoes are fucking everywhere in
Mm-hmm.
Florida. Speaking of being a Florida man, what kind of exotic creatures are in your backyard that you own and caught yourself?
In my backyard.
In your backyard. I'm assuming you have at least 3. I'm assuming you have at least 1 tiger because you saw Tiger King and you're like, that looks fantastic. I got to get me one of them. I'm going to call him Philip. I'm assuming you have a tiger, an iguana, and a baby alligator.
No, I actually don't have any. But we do have like invasive species of like lizards, which have literally like these aren't iguanas. They're like these big lizards, and they have like a curly tail in the back, but they're not from here. Like they literally popped up out of nowhere maybe like 6 or 7 years ago.
Why does Florida get all the invasive species? You have the pythons, iguanas, and now this new lizard.
Because literally everybody buys stuff to make them pets, and then they dump them out in the Everglades or wherever, and then they reproduce and they become an invasive species. But they've literally they are destroying everything. They're horrible. They're destroying everything.
Well, like, that's what an invasive species is. They're killing half. Like when what fucking American brought a frog to Australia and almost killed the whole country. Florida's run over by pythons. Yeah. No. Well, that's why they're legal all year round for their open season. Yeah. I think iguanas are open season year round too, aren't they?
Iguanas, I believe, are. There was even a whole thing for iguanas where like they would pay you to take them out or something like that.
I think it's the same thing. Yeah, I think it's the same thing for the snakes. Depending on how many you take out and you bring to like City Hall or something like that. I didn't know about that until I came across one in Pensacola. I'm like, I hate snakes and spiders. I don't mess with. I don't care if they're poisonous. I don't care if they're not. Fuck them. This is my arachnophobia is so bad. This is going to make me sound like a terrible husband and father. When my wife was pregnant with our firstborn, there was a spider in the shower. I left and I told her to kill it.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I would do the same thing.
Pigs eat turtle eggs and turtles eat jellyfish, and now you get stung when swimming in the sea. I have what the
no idea what that means.
Okay,
but, okay.
Moving on before Sudan gets me on Sudan mind myself and just like okay, we're gonna talk about this for a while. I forgot to wear my Baja Blastoise shirt, so instead I'm wearing my Slow King shirt. I love these pun t-shirts. They're so I used to hate puns, but nice. I don't know why I like these ones so much. Pigs are an invasive. Geez, stoners. Are they? In what area?
I think there's like some states that there's like wild pigs out there or wild boar or whatever, and they're not supposed to be. Like they're just roaming the.
Yeah. Wild boars are fucking mean. And they're all over the place in Texas. Yeah.
Well, Texas is another place. They've got all kinds of animals over there that like they can. I guess they have like these breeding places or whatever where like they'll have like kangaroos or whatever, and then they. It's Texas. I don't know.
Weird. Texas is weird. All of America, Australia, New Zealand. Oh, Australia is where the devil puts all his test subjects. Holy shit. They have kangaroos are mean. They're mean as hell. Texas is also its own country. They wish.
They really do.
Yeah. I think most of like even California wants to succeed at one point or even make it into multiple Californias. They wanted to do 3. They want to do South California, California, and North California. How that would work, I have no idea.
It's crazy.
Just humans.
Australia is crazy. Like they literally have every animal that can kill you over there.
Yeah, and what is it like the 15 most poisonous snakes in the world? The top 10 are all in Australia.
Yeah,
Australia has no major predators. No, they do. They definitely do. Yeah, I
I'm
do
just
feel.
curious. Like they don't ever do like Naked and Afraid in Australia.
No, they can't because people would die.
But no, but they'll throw them in Africa with like lions and hyenas and baboons and all kinds of crazy crocodiles and gators and all that stuff, and they'll, you know, elephants that'll like stomp through them if they, but not
This is
Australia.
true.
It's
They do
weird.
have hippopotamuses, and those kill more
And
things than
hippos.
yeah. Hippos are apparently those are mean as fuck because they kill more people than lions and tigers do. Uh,
Yeah,
speaking of
they
what,
also swim really well too. Apparently.
uh, Dizzy, it's been so hot when I am in Canada. It was like 30 Celsius. We are Americans. I'm assuming that's like 70 degrees. I have no idea what you're talking about, Dizzy. But yeah.
86.
Oh,
86
86.
Fahrenheit.
I should finish reading. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dizzy. 86 isn't too bad. In my opinion, it's not too bad. They got giant orcas in Australia. Oh, that says crocs, not orcas. I'm telling you, I'll learn to read one day. Reading's hard. That's why I joined the military. Yeah, the 80. I wish it was 86 in Southern California right now. I think we're getting up to we're in the low 90s right now. It's yeah. So I'm gonna have to turn on the AC when I get out of this and go jump in my garden hose pool. American don't
It's
read
actually
either.
it's actually not been crazy hot here in the last couple of weeks because we had record-breaking floods
Oh,
from
awesome.
rain. Yeah. So that was great. But it hasn't been like super crazy hot. I think we're somewhere in the 83 to like 90-degree range, which
Yeah.
isn't bad. It's not
But
bad for
how
Florida.
so that's what like about 92, 93 with the humidity.
Oh, it's like 100 with the humidity. Yeah, but that's fine. That's like normal for us. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine unless you get into like the 120s or something like that because of the humidity. You're good.
Jeez, how stoned is Gonzo right now? I'm not stoned at all. Drugs are bad and gay. Uh, speak. Speaking of lions and tigers and bears, oh my! What is your genre of movies that you go to?
Genre of movie that I go to. I'm kind of all over the place. I will tell you, like, I don't like horror at all.
Oh, I love horror.
But genre that I generally will go to is like comedy most of the time. Like I'll watch comedy movies, or action films.
Suit on whatever one he can complain about.
This is true. This is
Yeah.
true. I do love sci-fi and fantasy. I mean, those are like
Those are
the
good.
main ones that I would go after. Like if I'm gonna watch something, I could watch like really low budget fantasy shows and be like, oh, this is really awesome. But
Well,
then
then
you
I'll-
put like Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, which is like the highest budget show ever, and it's just absolute trash. And I'm like, God damn, they
good thing I
like
never
literally,
watched it then.
yeah. I'm like, they could have like some shitty movie, like with the shittiest budget, would have been better than this. You know what I mean? So
Here's a controversial statement for you probably since you like that. I don't get me wrong. I also love fantasy stuff, but I hate Lord of the Rings. And this is the only reason. Though it's the dumbest reason, and I get this argument a lot with people because of the way it fucking ended. I've never read the book, so I don't know how different it is from the books. But the fact that I sat through one 3 hour long movie, another 3 hour long movie, and then another one, just to have him drop a ring in a volcano and then get picked up by fucking Moltres and get carried to safety, just fucking ruined it for me. Are you fucking kidding me? You're talking about how, oh, I could have just gone on Pidgeot, fallen over, and dropped in the ring, but no, you made me go through this goddamn adventure. Fuck you, wizard. I would have been mad as fuck. That is literally the only reason why I do not like the Lord of the Rings movies.
spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's actually interesting you say that because I always I overthink everything, and it's one of the reasons why Sudan says it'll be like anything he can complain about, which is because it's true. Like, I will watch something, and no matter how much I liked it, I will find the faults in it, and I'll be like, this is ridiculous. This is
Yeah.
stupid. You know what I mean? Even with Lord of the Rings, which is literally my favorite trilogy. Yes, more than Star Wars. I do like Lord of the Rings. I've watched the original Lord of the Rings movies so many times. I've watched the extended versions that are like 5 hours long. Yes, I love those movies. I do think that the ending, like you said, is absolutely ridiculous, and it is something that goes through my mind every single time I get to that point where the eagle comes and picks them up, and I'm like, why didn't you just take the fucking eagles in the first place?
Right.
God damn it! You could have saved me 15 hours of movie, but I mean,
but you keep on watching it.
But because I love the movies, but at the same time, like, there's that little piece that is just like, why?
When they, because I don't remember how old I was when they came out in theaters, but I was watching them in theaters. First one, loved it. Second one, loved it. Third one, was in love with it until that happened. And I remember in the theater, I'm like, what the fuck? And people in the crowd, like, I got death stares because I'm sure I ruined the movie for a lot of people. But at that time, Sudan, I was probably stoned because I was a teenager. But I was mad as fuck. Would have saved Frodo 3 to 4 years of his life because I think that's how long the journey was in the books. Yeah, probably. And because of those movies, I never watched any of the Hobbit movies. And I'm not gonna watch Ring of Power. So
don't watch Ring of Power. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's terrible. I mean, look, I was not a huge fan of the Hobbit movies. When they came out, I was like, whatever. It didn't have the same feel that the Lord of the Rings movies had. I mean, just take the ending off. Like, pretend it didn't exist and you enjoyed the rest of it, right? Like, you get to the Hobbit and you're like, it doesn't feel the same. There's something missing here.
Is Ring of Power another prequel? So is it before
Ring of
the
Power?
Hobbit?
Ring of Power is way before the Hobbit.
Okay.
Way before the Hobbit. Like, so remember,
it's supposed to be like the forging of all the rings and then the one ring. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like, you know, Galadriel, the elf.
Yeah.
So she was actually like super young at that time, because she's like a few hundred years or 100. She's like, I don't know how many 100 years old, but whatever. She's like young in the show. It's her show. She's a main character.
Yeah.
But they just absolutely ruined her. She's absolutely nothing like she is in the movies. She's like some warrior princess kind of, character, and it's like, that's not Galadriel. Like, it's so weird, the way that they did that.
And I think that a lot of they're getting sued. Jeff Bezos and the junior estate are being sued for plagiarism. I don't know what they did. I've never read the books or anything like that. But Jay wants to rewatch the trilogy. It's no Star Wars. It's not Star Wars.
The trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, so what they ended up doing, because they didn't have the rights to a lot of the stuff of Lord of the Rings, they kind of pieced things together in a weird way, and it's just like it just doesn't work, because they couldn't really make a good story, in my opinion. And it's like, it's just one of those things where they just go overboard with, like, the woke crap, and like, it's terrible. But
I have no problem with the quote unquote woke product line if it makes sense to the story, or even like, you don't even have to bring, like, comics does it so well, where a character's gay, character's trans, character doesn't believe in like a sexual attraction. But that's the biggest difference between comic book writing and writing for movies, television, and all the other media. I feel like for that, they make that their whole fucking personality, right, to shove it down the throat. And it's like, okay, great, but what does that build as a character, or build as if you're gonna make it so prominent, like, make it part of the story, make it make sense. With comics, they bring it up like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gay. Cool, that's great. Let's go fight the Joker. Right. Who gives it? I don't give a shit what you want to be called, what your belief is. But if you force it down my throat, that's when I'm gonna have an issue. But comics does it so well.
Yeah. So
It's
what
not
they did
Star
with
Wars.
Rings
It's
of
not Star Trek. Yeah,
what they did with Ring of Power was more like, I mean, like you've got Galadriel being like the main character or whatever, but she's like Supergirl boss. You know what I mean? Like just
mhm.
a complete Mary Sue. That could do no wrong, and like literally is just like the most powerful thing ever.
Yeah.
Even though she really doesn't use her actual powers that she's got in Lord of the Rings. Like in Lord of the Rings, she is she's super powerful. Even in The Hobbit, when you see her in The Hobbit, she actually uses her powers a lot more. But she is extremely powerful. But she doesn't use magic or anything like that in Rings of Power.
Hmm.
She's just like a warrior, and it's just so weird. But the way that they did it was just like it didn't feel like they were actually trying to write a good story. You know what I mean? They were just trying to like she's
They're trying to
amazing
milk a franchise.
and that's what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make her like super duper duper amazing and you're gonna love it, kind of thing. And it's just there's something wrong with the show. It's just like it's just there's it's not really good.
I haven't heard a whole lot. I read wrote, so I said wrote. I haven't heard a whole lot about it ever since like I think
wrote it.
episode 1. Yeah, AI probably did write it.
Probably
AI's
probably
writing
did
everything.
write it.
You don't know this, but I'm not having a conversation with Zen. It's AI Zen. I
It's
did
AI.
this AI Zen.
Yeah. I'm not real.
But what's something that got you because of Lord of the Rings? What's another subdivision of that Lord because of Lord of the Rings got you into it? Like I don't know if you collect swords or anything like that.
I do actually. Well,
Of course you
so I used to collect swords. I still have them, but I used to collect them. That was back when, I mean, I was like literally 18, 19 years old. I was collecting swords. So I've got a whole collection of them. I like really cool knives and stuff like that. But
Raptor
yeah,
claw.
the Raptor Claw. So yeah, I used to collect those. That was always fun. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just lazy, but I never actually put them up in my house as a display. I think I didn't really. When I got my house, I'm like, I don't really want to scare people away. When they come to my house and they're like, "Why does he have so many swords?"
Why do them have bloodstains on them? What?
Yeah.
So my buddy is the exact opposite. He likes to freak people out for no reason. So he has a lock on his basement door in his house, just because.
God.
Yeah, just
Nice.
because he wants to find. Like people would ask, like, "Hey, what's with this lock?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing." And then he just stare at the door to make, and like he'll mess with the locker and everything. I was like, "You dickhead!" But scare those.
Listen, I've had to take out one of my swords once to potentially defend my home. So, but I didn't really actually have to. But yeah, somebody actually got into my backyard. They were confused. They were supposed to go next door neighbor to do some sort of construction thing, and they actually went into my yard. And then the guy realized he wasn't in the right house, and then he was walking out, but my doorbell, my Ring doorbell was like, "Hey, there's somebody on your yard." And I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but I see him coming out of my backyard, right? So I'm like, all right, time to slay a motherfucker. I mean, I don't know. So I had to pull out one of the swords and
did he just walk into your backyard, or did he like hop a fence?
No, he walked into my backyard because I had left the side gate open. It was unlocked. And so he just walked in, and I guess he realized, so he comes out, and he's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm supposed to be next door. I got confused, and whatever." I was like, "All right, well, you got lucky this time, buddy, because
you were
this close. You were this close from getting the claymore up the booty." So
yeah, the good old Southern circumcision. Yeah. I hope I'm sure someone in the comment section has heard that joke before.
I haven't. I don't even know what you're talking about.
How do you give a Southerner a circumcision? Kick his sister's teeth.
Oh, God. Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to help Zen making new backyard content. Zen, hark evildoer, disembark from my humble abode, or ye shall be slain. Yeah. The backyard content seems interesting for some people. It all
Yeah.
depends on what community you live in. Like
Mhm.
when I like you're depending on the time of day for you, it'd probably be nice because it's good weather, but your neighbors, the one time I was on the podcast, your neighbors were having a massive party. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
have been good
So
background music, but it would have been copyright stricken for sure.
yeah.
Zen
So
LARPs in his free time.
I have
Backyard
my
wrestling.
neighbor that that likes to party. He also likes to do construction 24/7. But he's like, it's just there's the yards are decent sizes and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of traffic in the area. I'm not too far from a main road, so you hear like the trucks and vehicles just passing by. So it's not really a quiet environment to make a
Yeah.
video out in the backyard and like open up cards and stuff like that. I wish it was. If I went and did that, like it would be chaos.
Mine's
So yeah.
kind of similar. Because I live on a mountainside. So on past my backyard wall, there's the hill, and then there's a street. It's kind of it's not super busy, but down the road there's the fire department, so the fire truck comes by every once in a while. But because it's not very busy and it's a long straightaway, cars come by peeling out all the time. So it's not perfect for me either. But I've seen some people do content in their backyard, and it just seems so relaxing. Laugh aloud. I got one of those. What the hell are they building, and what is taking so long? I think he's hiding bodies. With your name 187, I know what that means. It's probably you. You're the one hiding bodies. That's probably why you're able to go to Europe once a year and go on vacations. Hello 187 confirmed to be a hitman. FBI agent watching this stream. I'm just kidding. I don't know if he actually is or not, but I would check. Um, yeah. uh, one of my neighbors, they were doing that for a long time too, but that's because the HOA was holding them up. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have an HOA here. He's just been doing construction for the last 5 years.
What is he
Just
building?
like anything and everything, maybe. I don't know. He bought his house. It was a house that was in just like crappy condition.
So
So
he's
like
slowly updating it,
he's
probably room by
yeah
room.
he's redoing like each room and he's redoing a lot of the stuff, and so there's constantly like saws and all kinds of stuff going on. Um,
Right.
but it's kind of like a pain because it literally happens anytime I'm gonna be making a video. He's like, "Yep, time for the saw." I'm like, really, bro? Like, come on, man.
Does he have a
Every
jackhammer?
time, I don't know what it is, man. He's got all kinds of freaking tools over there, power tools, and it's like just like it'll be completely quiet, and I'll be like, "This is perfect to make a video, perfect." And then I'll like start setting everything up, and by the time I'm done setting it up, and I'm like, "Oh
You son of
God,
a bitch! Yeah.
so close, so close."
No, mine. It's my dog is the thing I gotta look out for. So depending on the time of day, I like my neighbors walk their dogs like clockwork, and my dog is a coward, and she'll bark at anything that makes our Ring doorbell go off. So like I was like, okay, well, hopefully no one shows up. And like, okay, no one shows up, good. But every once in a while, you'll hear that bark in the background, like you son of a bitch, ghost. But when she's such a coward, like she's one of those. She thinks she's a Chihuahua. She'll bark and
Mm.
bark and bark, and then when she gets outside, she's like, "Oh, this is nice. There's a dog. I'm gonna look straight ahead and mind my own goddamn business." I'm like, "What the fuck?" But she's a German Shepherd. She's a big fucking dog. Like, I
Oh,
love
really?
that she's so scared of anything coming towards the house because I know, like, hey, someone's by the house that shouldn't be by the house.
Right.
But then there's times I'm like, "Oh, come on, girl, you're too loud."
Right.
Yeah. Uh, did you have any animals or pets growing up as a kid?
No, not well. So I'll take it back. I had goldfish. Do those count? I don't know.
Yeah, they're
I had
edible.
parakeets. I
Parakeets
don't know
count.
about edible. They didn't. I didn't ever had goldfish that lasted longer than like a few months.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know
anyone
why they
does.
would. Yeah, I don't know why they just die, but like, yeah, I had parakeets also. My mom liked the parakeets for whatever reason. Like I think I wanted, two of them or whatever. So we got two, and then she started buying more, and so like she got, like we had like five or six, I think. Um, but that was it. Oh no, I'm sorry. I did have a rabbit once. It lived outside though. It was, we had a
Mm.
cage and all that stuff, and I would let it out, and play with it. But it got very aggressive, so we had to give it away. And then yeah, that was pretty much it. I never had a dog or a cat or anything like that. My dad would refuse to, he's like, no, not doing that.
And he probably
Um,
has a dog now, right?
no, he doesn't have a dog. No,
Oh.
he's completely anti having a dog. But when I did have my dog, once I moved out and I, was living in this house, um, he absolutely loved my dog. Just he was just happy that he could always return the dog whenever,
It's
like if
like
I
a
went on vacation or
grandchild.
whatever. Yeah, it's kind of like grandchild, right? So like, yeah, I would go on vacation or whatever, and I'd leave the dog with them, and so they absolutely loved having the dog for a week. But
Mm.
then, they were like, "All right, here you go."
Yes. We filled it
Yeah.
up with yeah. So I wish Grumpy was in here. What is your favorite kind of Where's, oh, hold on. This was fun. I will need to catch the replay before I go and not to hide bodies. Spoiler alert. I'm sending a Raichu skateboard to you, Gonzo. See everyone. No, no, you're not. Like I appreciate that, but please don't do that. That is way too generous of a gift. I no, to please don't do that. Like I just opened a PO box. Link in the description down below to accept like small packages and mystery boxes, but not a skateboard. That's oh, you son of a bitch. God, now I gotta put out. I'm not mad. I'm cheap and easy, but that gets you at least a good hour. Oh, God, you son of a bitch. I really don't know how to respond to that because that is such a generous thing. Oh,
That's what he does, man. That's what he does.
yeah.
I know. I have the same dilemma also whenever he sends
He
me
won't
stuff, and I'm
listen,
like,
Gonzo.
"Did
You
you
never
see
can.
the massive box that he sent me for my birthday? I mean, like,
Yeah, I think he did. He sent one to you, Edith, Danny, Super Duper Danny. I think he sent it to one other person, like just giant boxes, and some of it was for you guys,
yeah,
and others was to give away on your channels. Yeah, holy
yeah.
shit.
I mean, yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's nuts.
Yeah.
He's awesome, but yeah, he does way too much.
No, he's amazingly awesome because when he
Yeah,
went to the UK for the tournament last year, not the one he just went to, but the major tournament for the World Championships. I was gonna Venmo him some money to pick some stuff up for me from the Pokemon Center, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, cool. I'll send you some extras." I was like, "No, don't do that. Just please, please." And he was like, "No." I was like, "Oh man." Like but I'm the I and it's funny because I'm the same way. When I send stuff for my giveaways, I always send in extra goodies.
right.
Um, because but holy shit, this I know how expensive those skateboards are. I have 5 of them myself.
Oh wow.
My wife is if I have to explain this as soon as I can to my wife because she's gonna beat the shit out of me when the skateboard shows up. And she's like, I thought we said no. I'm like, hold on. She's not gonna I swear to God, she will not believe me. I have to
Well,
like
you better get a screenshot of the chat there
of the chat.
just
Yeah,
to make sure.
I'm gonna make her rewatch this all so I can get the view times too. So like, no, 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 I didn't. I swear to God. Um, oh man, that derailed me more than Sudan. Like holy shit. I thank you so much 187. I know you're not here anymore, but if you do watch the replay, I am extremely grateful for that. For you guys who don't know, Raichu, best Pokemon in the world. What the fuck was I talking? Oh, Grumpy. Okay, Grumpy's gonna. I'm sad Grumpy's not in here because what is your favorite your favorite tail to eat?
My favorite tail to eat. Well, I
We
love
won't go into too
oxtail.
much detail on why this question is so
Yeah.
funny to me, but you know, and Sudan knows, and that's all that matters. Uh,
Yeah, I love oxtail. I think oxtail is the most delicious tail you could
Around
eat.
79 minutes.
Um, I mean, I also eat chicken
Thank you,
tail. I
Digi.
love chicken tail.
Yeah, I love oxtail.
Yeah.
I I think I've had chicken tail before, but I honestly can't say 100% for sure if I have or have not. But I think I have.
The
I
only
do
problem with
love
the chicken tail
oxtail
is
and
it's
oxtail
literally
soup.
like it's tiny. So I mean, you're
Yeah,
it's really all it is just it's a bone. It's the spine goes all the way to the end, and then you have like a little
yeah,
bit of fatty, like fat on both sides, and that's it. I mean, the fat just tastes yummy. It's kind of like a chicken wing,
yeah. It is
you know?
really fatty. It's so good. Um,
Yeah.
what other? I don't.
Oxtail. I had oxtail the other day. It was freaking amazing.
I love
Absolutely
oxtail. It's so
amazing.
good. Oxtail is one of those versatile pieces of meat. You can throw it in a soup. You can grill it. You can fry it. There's so much you can do with it. Uh, I honestly, those are the only two tails that I know you can eat. I don't know if you can eat any other kind of tail.
Gator tail.
Yeah, well, and snake. But what part soup isn't food?
Isn't
Okay,
snake like literally all tail?
that's well, apparently not, according to scientists and biologists. I think they said it's like a third, like three-fourths of the way down, and then it
Hmm.
starts the tail, which is
Hmm.
interesting. And then also, according to scientists, there is a legless lizard, and it's not a snake. And guess what state that's found in?
Florida.
Florida. Soup isn't a food. Soup is a drink. I have to. The California Hotel in Las Vegas has bomb AF oxtail soup. The highlight of my friend's bachelor
Nice.
party for sure. That sounds like a boring bachelor party when you're like, fuck those titties. I want some oxtail soup.
Bro, that's the best. That's the best right there. You know,
To be honest,
oxtail
I don't know if
is.
he had strippers at his bachelor party, but
I don't know.
that's
I
I can't be mad.
I'm
The
just
best,
telling you.
yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Have you? Because I know oxtail is not like an American food. It's more Hispanic, Mexican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, um,
Jamaican.
Jamaican. Have you been to any? No, there was titties for sure, but the oxtail party was way off. Hey, according to you, that soup was a party, did you? And I'm not mad at that. But have you been to any of those countries? Mexico, Jamaica, Puerto Rico. I'm assuming Cuba because you are Cuban.
No, I have
No.
not been to Cuba. No, I have not. I've not been to Cuba. Yes, my parents are Cuban. I've never been. I've no reason to go.
Mhm.
Don't support, the communist
But
regime over there.
no.
So I won't spend a dime over there. Um, I don't really have family there. As far as like anybody, all of my family came to the United States. So
Okay.
anybody that's left over there is like distant cousins of my parents, maybe that
Mhm.
I like. They literally don't even know them, right? So there's really no point to go, in my opinion.
Right. Right. Right.
I'd love to, just not under the conditions
The
that
current.
they're in. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
Out of the countries you have been to, or I don't know if you've been out of the country. So
Oh yeah,
I will
yeah.
ask this for even out of the state. What is the best local food you've had that wasn't obviously in Florida?
The best local food I've had that wasn't in Florida. Okay, well, I'm gonna say one of the best places that I went to was in actual Puerto Rico,
Hmm.
in Old San Juan, and they have some like really nice like, you know, kind of like bars and stuff like that. Like, it was really cool. It was a nice experience. The food was really good. Puerto Rican food is delicious.
Yes.
So it's similar to Cuban food. But yeah, that was pretty awesome. Outside of that, I mean, I've been to Mexico. they had good food there, obviously. But yeah, I mean that's best food. I'd probably have to say that Puerto Rico was probably the best one. Um, I've been to I've been to Santo Domingo as well,
Is that a
which is
country or is that like a? Oh, okay.
Dominican Republic. That they've got delicious food there as well. So yeah, I've been
I'm sure they
to
have great
most of
tail.
I've been to most of the Caribbean islands on cruises. I've been like on a
Yeah.
cruise that goes from island to island to island.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've been to most of those.
I'm trying to
That's
convince my
always fun.
wife to go on a cruise, one that I don't have to work on. Because when I deployed, we Singapore had amazing food.
Mm.
I to be fair, when I was in the military, I was still currently drinking. I took the term "drink like a sailor," like a fucking madman. Do they have good Wi-Fi on cruises? I on my cruise, no, not at
No,
all.
you don't even have service on the cruise. I mean, I don't. Yeah, there's no internet
Yeah.
basically.
Singapore had really good food. They had um, uh, they had the ducks that would hang from the bill off the hook, and you would have to pick which duck you wanted or chop off their head. That was really good. Believe it or not, the Philippines has amazing pizza. Bahrain had really good pizza, really because pizza and steak is the two things I tried in every country besides their local food.
Hmm.
Bahrain had really good steaks. Uh, but as far as like local cuisine goes, Bahrain was really good. UAE was really good, and then Dubai. I didn't try any of the local food in Dubai, unfortunately, just because it was so. The part we went to is very westernized, and we just went to a mall because it was so goddamn hot. So we just went to the food chains,
Right.
um, and then Israel. Israel had amazing food and people. The people there were so awesome.
Hmm.
Chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. Awesome, that's good.
Oh,
Um,
I could still see it. I
mine.
was gonna say, that question is actually really difficult for me, and the reason why it's so difficult is because living in South Florida, we have so much diversity in
Yeah, Southern
just
California too. It's crazy.
yeah, like literally people from all over, all of the Caribbean islands. Like you can go down the street and there's a gazillion restaurants. Like we have so many restaurants of every type, of every nationality. Like you can't, you don't have to go very far to find a specific food from a specific nationality, and usually the restaurants are very good. Like I know there's like a lot of places probably that have kind of generic stuff, um, just because like they have to cater to a more maybe in a more American, um, like clientele.
Hmm.
And if you go in the U.S. right, and you find like a Cuban restaurant out in the middle of I don't know wherever somewhere, um, generally they're not going to have the same foods that they have down here because one they can't source the same quality foods, and on top of that they also kind of cater to like the American customers instead.
The
And
tourists,
so it's
yeah,
it's just Cuban enough. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
whereas here it's literally all authentic. I mean everything is authentic food. So it's so difficult to say like, "Oh, I left here to go somewhere else and had amazing food." Cuz literally I have the amazing food here. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one.
yeah. I know. I completely understand that, and that's the reason why I asked because San Diego is diverse, just like Miami, Florida, and you can go anywhere down the street, a couple minutes away to a certain neighborhood, and you can get the food, and it does taste amazing, and it does taste different than your standard American food. But if you go to that country and order the exact same thing, it just tastes
Yeah.
completely different.
Right.
Um, but to backtrack just a little bit back to collectibles and everything like that, uh, we I don't what I can't remember the asshole's name, but it's something I know you wanted to talk about, and I think this is a good time to talk about it, just to bring it all back together to collectibles. Lorcana and Pokemon. I so I'm sure most of us in the chat or most of us in our community have seen this guy talk about Pokemon and how crazy his statements were. Because to us, he sounded completely ignorant. But I'm sure to a lot of
Yeah.
people, they're like, yeah, that's right. Pokemon is not like Disney. Well, you're right. But the fact that he was saying that Pokemon is gonna he wasn't talking bad about Pokemon. I will give him that.
Right.
He was just saying that he was just completely not respecting the community, in my opinion, to what he was
Right.
saying. And this first video, I watched a Possum Buds video, and I'm sure a lot of us have as well. The total disrespect that he gave the community was one thing. Like a hot dog, it is a sandwich, it is a taco. Okay, I don't know how to respond to that, Sudan.
No, that wasn't Sudan. That was somebody else. That's something Sudan would say, but
It's on me, Melon.
that was Mike Jr.
Oh,
Mike.
oh,
Jr.
Mike. I know Mike. How you doing, Mike? It sounded like a Sudan thing. That's why.
It did sound like a Sudan thing. Literally sounded like a Sudan thing. So I've never heard that. Hello? 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 Was it me or was it the whole... All right. Can you guys see me? Gonzo's gone. Gonzo. Oh, now I'm gone.
Okay, that was
right,
fun.
Back.
We're back.
I'm like, wait a minute, because you were frozen on my end.
Yeah, you were frozen on my side. Were you able to hear me still?
No, I couldn't hear you, but I was still going on the stream. So like,
that's
I
crazy.
Was not, yeah, I wasn't frozen on the stream.
I hope it's not
gotta
my
love
Wi-Fi.
Melon. That's right.
I hope it's on my Wi-Fi or Melon. I hope it's Melon and not my Wi-Fi, because I'm gonna be pissed. What the fuck was? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that Joffrey Wilson or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah. He has the $15 check mark. We know it's the $15 one. We know he didn't get the free version. It's the total disrespect in the first video, and then him doubling down the second one was asinine. I've only seen 2.
Oh, I thought he made 3. I could be wrong, but yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. What's your thought process on it? Because mine is, he totally disregarded the community, totally disregarded everything that Pokemon has done. And then with the second video, with his examples of Disney characters, excuse me, none of those examples were made within the 2000s upwards. They were 1999 or lower. So it's right. He's using his age to talk about it, his specific generation, which is crazy, because when I look at him, he doesn't look that much older than you or I or even Sudan, if he is that much older.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, honestly, it was just marketing for him. I don't think I think it was more of a, I'm going to make this video so I can get, the clicks, and I can get people talking about me and people talking about Lorcana or whatever the case is. I think it was less intended to, like I don't think he's genuine about his, what he's trying to say or what he's trying to push.
Right.
I think he's, like, he showed he's got Pokemon stuff, right? But, like, is he really a Pokemon fan, or does he just have the Pikachu and the Charizard? Because literally, he is like a sports collector, right?
Yeah.
A sports collector, probably an investor, right? Let's put it that way. He's an investor. I mean, he's looking to make money. So when I see that right away, I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to take anything seriously from this person, because literally all they care about is the money. You know what I mean? They're not
Absolutely.
in it
I think it's a
for
marketing scheme too. He's just trying to provoke something.
right.
Maybe he pre-ordered, or he has a someone that he wants to sell a bunch of Lorcana, because they are the only Pokemon he acknowledged were the original 150. The only Disney people he acknowledged were anything as old as he would remember.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, it's and like you said, the only Pokemon that he had in the background was a Pikachu and a Charizard UPC. Like,
Right.
of course you would have that.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. I I mean, like there's just there are people that um that will be like, okay, the nostalgia is really what they're into, right? And that's fine.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you can't come out and be like, well, the original 151 were the only Pokemons. You know what I'm
no,
saying? Like you can't just throw that out there and be like, oh, it's, nothing else is worthwhile or interesting or whatever the case
mm,
is. Which is kind of like how it felt, right? It felt like this is one of those like people that just knows Charizard because it's Charizard and
right,
knows Pikachu because it's Pikachu. And like you said, knows some of the old Disney characters because they're the old Disney characters. Dumbo, I mean, literally nobody has ever. I've never thought about Dumbo in my entire life. Like, I mean, I watched Dumbo when I was a kid, but I've never been like, oh, let me go, rewatch Dumbo,
yeah.
or let me get Dumbo merch. I'm sure there's people that have
That's me.
Dumbo merch and all
I
that
love
stuff.
Dumbo. I
And there's
love
nothing.
Dumbo.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm
Yeah,
just saying
no, of
like
course not.
the chance that there's probably a lot less people that are
Mhm.
buying Dumbo merch than there are people buying Pokemon merch
No,
in general.
absolutely. Like, I have one Dumbo shirt that I wear in a Dumbo hat, and people are like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" I'm like, "Fucking Disneyland!" Like, because
Right.
that's the only place you'll get any Dumbo anything is you have to go to a theme park.
Right.
Digismithy said, "I'm high on Lorcana, but after seeing some Wise Disney 100, it didn't outshine. I don't know." And the Japanese sets in Pokemon right now. Dumbo is my favorite Disney film. Says Sudan. Yeah, like I agree with Digi. Like, um, the 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 Wise 100, it did great, but there's only like 3 or 4 cards in there that are worth money for collectors. But the crazy fucking thing is there's one card that's worth almost $20,000 for that one
Yeah.
set. And
Right.
I think you and I talked about in the group chat with or I don't know, I don't remember where else we talked about it. Because people are going nuts because they think Disney's going to lose the copyright ownership of Mickey Mouse. And I don't like, and we'll explain it here how copyright works. Disney will never fucking lose the copyright to Mickey Mouse. They don't give a shit
Right.
about Winnie the Pooh. Like, they lost the rights to that. That's fine. They weren't the original maker. But Mickey Mouse, they will never lose the rights to that. What they're losing the rights of is a certain design of a Mickey, which is Steamboat Willie.
Right.
And that's the card in Wise Disney 100 that's worth almost 20 grand because it's the
Right.
last couple of prints of a copyright Disney owned Steamboat Willie.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I mean, again, and that's one of the things that like I know my dad was talking to me about that, and he's like, I can't believe that they're going to lose the copyright to Mickey Mouse. I'm like, they're not. I mean,
No.
it's a specific version of Mickey Mouse.
Mhm.
Like they have copyright for every single version. There's been like I don't know how many versions of Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah. It's
Like
and
they're
same
just
thing with
losing
Pikachu.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? So like
The
they're
Japanese
losing
Mickey
that
Mouse.
one specific one. So yeah, I mean it's not that big of a deal, but people will they'll find any excuse to make something super duper valuable,
Yes.
and make money off of it. So
Speaking of that, Dizzy Hippie, I have a vintage clothing business. Some shirts sell for crazy money. A 90s Aladdin Genie shirt sold for $6,000.
wow,
That is insane. Like, but I believe it. There's
yeah,
like at these trade shows, people are selling these vintage NASCAR shirts, or Pokemon or cereal, like vintage anything. People are going nuts over, especially 90s. So many Marvel shirts sell for 1 to 2,000 plus. God damn. I didn't keep any
wow.
of that. Once my fat ass grows out of stuff, I toss it. Like, Yeah, I
Yeah, I
don't
didn't keep
see.
any of that stuff either.
Yeah, I don't see Lorcana unseating Pokemon. Neither do I. And maybe it brings Pokemon back to Earth, but I see it more knocking out TCGs like MetaZoo, Bandai Games, and if the card game is actually good, that I could agree with and see arguments for if
Mm.
people are willing to have the arguments. I don't think they're going to knock
Well,
out Magic.
MetaZoo's going to knock themselves out, so you don't
Oh
have to worry about
yeah,
that.
I don't know. I don't know very much about MetaZoo except what's talked about in chats and in discords. But MetaZoo sounds like they're about to fuck themselves. Like try to
They've
like
been
yeah.
they've been fucking themselves.
But
They
yeah,
just, you know,
Lorcana is definitely going to succeed no matter what. The first run is going to succeed because it is Disney already.
right.
The name behind it alone will make it succeed.
Well, they
Like
have all the different IPs too. They've
right,
got Star Wars attached to it. They've got Marvel. So there's so much that they could do with it. I
absolutely.
don't know. I don't know this set. You know how much they're going to rely on those two. Probably not much. I would imagine that they're probably going to rely more on like their main Disney line, which
That's what
would
it
make
looks like
sense
from
to
what I
me.
can see. A pair of
And
jeans
that,
from the late 1800s were found in a mine shaft. A Levi collector bought them for $86,000 for Levi jeans.
wow,
I'm in the
wow.
wrong business.
I don't even like jeans. So
I'm not even wearing pants right now. I'm straight up in my panties. Hi, OnlyFans
nice.
after this. Um, no, like yeah, I definitely do not think Disney's going to dethrone Magic the Gathering, Pokemon,
No.
or those. In my opinion, those are the only two they will not unseat. They
Well,
might
and
they might knock them down like Digi said and bring them back to Earth, especially Magic. But as far as like, but that's if the card game is good and has good runs and tournaments. But after that, I honestly don't see Lorcana going on longer than 4 or 5 years. I think they're going to be
that's a
limited runs and it's going to be expansion sets, not not new sets altogether.
yeah, and that's the thing is like, why do a TCG if you're not gonna try and keep it going, right? Because
Right.
like a TCG, you kind of want to just continue it forever
Right.
as long as you can. You know, it's different when you have like like the top set cards or whatever, which are just cards. They're not an actual game.
Mm-hmm.
That there, I would imagine. Okay, well, yeah, if they wanted to put out their own cards, um, and maybe do it for a couple of years for the money or for whatever the case is, and then
Yeah.
that's fine. But if they're going to do a TCG, I mean, they have to go all in, and it sounds like they're going all
I'm
in.
hoping they
But
do because the artwork looks amazing. I'm a big Disney
yeah,
adult. My kids love Disney. Well, one of them does. The other one doesn't. He likes breast milk still, so that he doesn't know anything but that. He,
I
he's
don't even
eight
want.
months. He's 8 months old.
I
People, calm down.
I just I'm like that's it's like the what's it called from that show on HBO, the Game of Thrones, with the kid that
Never seen it.
you've never seen Game of Thrones.
Never
Oh,
seen
I
it.
love Game of Thrones.
But I
Love Game
hear
of
about
Thrones.
it every time I tell people the name of my dog because I have a white German Shepherd named Ghost, and
Mm,
apparently I must be a huge Game of Thrones fan
yeah.
because I guess there's a dire wolf on there called Ghost, and it's a white one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's actually one of the characters is a grown kid at this point, right? And he's in still drinking his mom's breast milk, and
Oh,
it's just
awesome.
like the weirdest thing.
I
But
I
it's Game of Thrones, so you're kind of like, all right, that's just odd.
I watched I that it is a lie. I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, that's weird. Like I don't like the incest thing. I think it's just super weird. And when I saw that,
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, this is going to be a whole fucking storyline.
yeah,
I
it's a
like
whole
I
storylines of
and
that.
then I watched the
Yeah,
second episode because I was like, I'll give it an opportunity. I'm like, nope, I'm out. I'm done. Uh, Digi Smithy says with Lorcana, I don't know if they'll do a Marvel or Star Wars early on because the whole theme is ink and the cartoon aspect of Disney, if I remember correctly. That's what
yeah,
I think it is too for the first set. I don't think Marvel and DC are going to get involved probably until like second or third set.
right.
Uh, the theme of groans, I guess Sudan also does not like Game of Thrones.
I know. I'm aware. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of. Look. I hope they do well. I
Game
don't.
of Boned. I know
I
there's
don't.
a lot of sex in there.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
have a problem with Lorcana. I mean, I think a lot of people love Disney stuff, and I
mhm.
think it's great that they're getting a TCG. And as far as like
We know
it
Artemis is going to
dethroning
get it.
anyone, absolutely, Artemis
Yeah.
is going to be getting into that. Um, if it's a fairly easy game to pick up and all that stuff, it might be fun. I mean, hopefully they'll do like an online
Hmm.
TCG, kind of like Pokemon has, right? Because that's what I play, right? I play the online. When I play the online for Pokemon. But if they did that with Lorcana, it would be cool because you could just play online or whatever
Yeah.
and have fun.
I think Lorcana would be massive online just because, like we've been saying, it's fucking Disney. The IP alone is
Yeah,
going to make them money. I am excited for it. Dethroning, no. Uh, Luckily, most other Disney people that I've watched and follow on Instagram and YouTube, they're excited for it and they're not trying to market anything.
right, right.
Um, but so what can we expect from you, your channel, your Twitch, the Cardboard Addicts, Instagram? Let's talk about all your social media stuff. What can we expect from you in the near future, or even something that you hope to do sometime soon?
Well, I've got some Yu-Gi-Oh 25th anniversary coming. I'm really really excited about that. So I'm gonna try and do some videos on my channel. I know that those are not going to do very well because YouTube hates anything that isn't what my channel is really like 100% about. So like if it's not
Oh, I know
Pokemon,
the feeling.
it's like, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
So it'll tank, but that's fine. I'm looking forward to that, and so I'm going to be making some of that. But most of my stuff, I mean, basically, I'm doing the Cardboard Addicts podcast is like the main thing. If want to tune into our podcast, we have a good time. We talk about all the cardboard stuff that we collect, and we talk about the news and all this, kind of like what we're doing here. I mean, just talking about the different things. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. We're excited to bring you on board as a part timer
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Breaking news: I am joining the Cap team as a part-time Pearson, and I'm really excited for it.
Pearson,
And Pearson, I know
Pearson,
words. Pearson,
he's thinking words. That's okay.
breaking words.
We got a whole podcast full of people that can't speak properly, especially Sudan.
Well,
So
he does speak properly. It's the things he says that's like you broke my brain. When when did that happen? The quarter century secret rare promos are so cool. I just opened one right now. I'm assuming that's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference that you're talking about
yeah,
because I haven't opened Yu-Gi-Oh cards since high school. That's how long ago it's been.
yeah,
Yes, I'm excited for the opportunity. I can't wait to help the channel, the Cap team grow, and can't wait to see what happens from there. But this is my channel is my primary, but I will treat the Cardboard Addicts as if it was also my primary. Thank you guys for inviting me and allowing me on. I will be on this episode coming up on Monday. I'm really excited. What are we talking about? I have no clue yet. We haven't recorded. Um,
no idea, no clue.
I was about to say congrats, Gonzo. Thank you, Dizzy. Um, who let that happen? Uh, I don't know if
Sudan, there
he's
was a
joking or
whole.
not,
He probably wasn't paying attention.
or he
He
was
hasn't.
also stoned.
That
Yeah.
could possibly be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a whole conversation about that. So
I'm excited to watch the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff that you have for the 25th anniversary because 25 years ago, hey, at least I'll know something about it. I no, you have not been replaced, Udon. Far
no,
from
we're
it.
not replacing. We're not replacing you. We're replacing Ren.
Barely.
So
Yeah,
eh.
I'm not replacing. I'm not replacing
All right,
anybody.
we're really not replacing Ren, but kind of, sort of, not really.
Yeah, Ren knows I'm not replacing him. It's
No.
we're just there.
Yeah.
Ren Ren has some great stuff going on in his channel. Hopefully, I can bring him on this and talk about nostalgics with him because I bought this. I bought nostalgics. My wife is pissed that I did. I because she's like, "You're great. You're buying more stuff to collect." I'm like, I want to try it. I bought this, a box of secret shards, and a starter deck because I also want to play because that's who I am. If I'm going to collect something, especially a TCG, I want to know how to play the game first. I have yet to open them because she is so upset about it that I bought some more trading cards. She's like, I want you to focus on Pokemon, you fucking bastard. And Lorcana when that comes out. Yeah, she doesn't talk to me that way, but I know in the inside she definitely is.
On the inside.
Yeah.
No, but Nostalgics is cool. I mean,
I love the artwork for Nostalgics.
Yeah. They have some really cool art.
She's gonna get mad.
It's definitely worth picking up, like a booster box. I think the booster boxes are probably better than the single packs. In all honesty, I opened up a bunch of the single packs and didn't get very much out of them. But the booster boxes were really good that I've opened up. So I did enjoy that. Also, the game is fun to play. I have played the game with Ren. We had a great time doing that.
This is what I'm going to do because I want my wife to beat me later because I'm into that. I am going to open up my Secret Shards pack. It is the Beastlands pack.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's how long ago I bought this. This is my first time opening any nostalgic. But I have seen the one with MJ on the podcast. So I know you got to open it upside down so you don't see what card you get. I don't remember if there's a card trick to this for Secret Shards.
No, I think they're just in order of this set.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what like the really cool thing about the Secret Shards is like they're all.
Oh, come on! You don't want to focus? That is cool. That looks like a what you guys call the Void Rare, or are they all Void Rares?
Yeah, they're pretty much. They're all Void Rares.
Kronchaku. Oh, come on! You want to focus for me? No. I think that's the best I'm gonna get.
Wow.
So, these are so cool looking. Marietta's Demli. Yeah, I'll have to do a video on these later of what I open, so that way Ren can get excited. Ping's Court. Fuck, I can't even say the names. Renzo. This is now Ren's card for me. Renzo's. It's a little fire wolf thing. I guess I just have to bring it back farther.
It's probably confused about your face.
Yeah, it's so ugly. Yuri's Rodnik. Oh, and that's it for that one. These are all really cool looking cards. They're great artwork.
The hollows are amazing on those cards.
See how far back I can get.
And that's for the people that don't know, that TCG was created by Zaba. Anybody that collects Pokemon probably knows Zaba TV. He stopped creating the custom cards that he used to do, and he opened up basically his own TCG, created his own TCG, and so that's Nostalgics. So that's one of the things that I really liked about it was, I'm like, I've bought some of his custom cards, and I thought they were really good, high quality. Like, I thought they were pretty awesome. He has taken Nostalgics to a whole new level of quality.
Yes.
Those cards are phenomenal. The hollows are so beautiful. It's just really worth getting those. The Secret Shards are cool. They're a little expensive in my opinion, but they're fun to get. But yeah, they just, you get like 8 or 9 cards that are just absolutely amazing.
I thought when I bought this one, I thought it was going to be like the ones where in the back it's going to be either the blank card where you can make your own or one of those void rares. But the artwork is just so cool that I couldn't pass it up, and I want to learn how to play. Maybe I'll send that off to Ren just because I don't want my wife to beat me. But thank you so much, Zenturnion XYZ or Zen or XYZ or whatever you guys want to call him. Thank you so much for coming onto the channel. spending some time with me, spending time with the chat. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for stopping by. Check out the Cardboard Axe podcast, link in the description down below. Zen's personal channel, link in the description down below. His Instagram, everything, all that fun stuff. Until next time, guys, my name is Gonzo. And don't forget, collect how you want to collect. Peace.
Later.